On Halloween, draped in the American flag and faux pas phony speech of patriotism, Nancy Botox Pelosi, enemy of the United States, freedom, and the Constitution, decided that would be a great day to formalize and vote on the impeachment inquiry, investigation, and eventually Salem witch trial of President Donald J. Trump. Now, I have to be honest. In previous monologues, I have said I have a concern that the GOP, in particular, of course, the rhinos, would begin now to use this as an excuse to pull back from Donald Trump. And I have to be very honest with you. I was shocked, happy, still a little skeptical on some of them, but overall, I am very, very happy that the Republicans held the line and even drew 2 Democrats over to voting with them against impeachment. And when they rallied after the vote and held their press conference, it was incredible. They stayed on point, they stayed on message, and as far as I'm concerned, each one of them hit their own home run. In particular, I was really impressed with Liz Cheney.
In March of this year, Speaker Pelosi said this about impeachment. Impeachment is so divisive to the country that unless there's something so compelling and overwhelming and bipartisan, I don't think we should go down that path because it divides the country. Today, the country just witnessed the only bipartisan vote on that floor was against. And when we talk about the vote, I think it's important to note when you see that not only did every single Republican reject this Soviet-style impeachment process, but we were even joined by Democrats who couldn't stand it anymore.
The first one is that the Democrats cannot fix this process. They've now created a record over the course of the last several weeks with witnesses they selected. We know there were circumstances where Chairman Schiff told witnesses not to answer questions that our members were asking. We know there have been circumstances where our members have attempted to go read transcripts and they've been told by staff members that they're not allowed to go read those transcripts. This is a process that has been fundamentally tainted. The President has had no rights inside these hearings. His counsel has not been able to be present. So for them now to claim that they're suddenly going to open the process up, which, by the way, this resolution does not do. The resolution says that they're going to continue doing what they want to do. It gives authority for open hearings, but they cannot go back and fix what is a fundamentally tainted and unfair record.
Having pastored and lived in places like New York, Florida, and now Ohio, I can tell you that of all the elected officials within Congress that I am really the most impressed with has to be a congressman right here from the great state of Ohio, Jim Jordan. And you talk about a guy that brings fire and passion and a true commitment not only to President Trump, but what it is that President Trump is trying to do and what it is that the lying Democrats have tried to do to our president. Jim Jordan gets my vote for somebody that ought to be working very closely with the president, but I'm glad that he's not necessarily on the White House staff, but in Congress doing everything and anything that he can to stop the hordes that are coming against our president and actually working to further the president's agenda. Now, had to refuel there. Nothing like a good, strong cup of coffee. Jim Jordan really laid out the case for how absolutely insane this so-called impeachment is.
I was in an impeachment deposition, but then had to leave that to come to the floor for a vote on the rules for impeachment. That's what, that says it all about this entire process, and it is a sad day. It really is for this country. What the Democrats have put our nation through for now almost 4 years. You go back to July of 2016 when they opened an investigation into the president then candidate Trump, and spied on 2 American citizens associated with the presidential campaign. I bet that has never happened in American history, but that happened in 2016. And all we went through with the whole Mueller thing, and now this. And now this today. This, as the whip has said, this entire sham process, it is 4 facts have never changed and they will never change. 4 fundamental facts. We have the transcript. There is no conditions in the transcript. There's no quid pro quo in the transcript. Even the day after the call came out, Democratic chairmen were saying, well, there's no quid pro quo there, but we're going to keep on doing what they've been putting our country through. Second, the 2 individuals on the call both have said, President Trump, President Zelensky have both said there was no pressure, no pushing, nothing. Third, the Ukrainians didn't know aid had been held up at the time of the phone call. And fourth, and most important, what action did they take? What action did President Zelensky take or the Ukrainians take to ever free up the aid that was held up? They did nothing. No statement, no announcement of any type of investment. Those facts have never changed, will never change, but they don't care. They are trying to impeach the President of the United States less than 13 months before an election based on an anonymous whistleblower with no firsthand knowledge who has a bias against the President. It's reported that the whistleblower worked with Vice President Biden, and on it goes. The American people see this for what it is because the American people are fair people, they are just people, they are people with common sense, and they will not tolerate this.
Having been born, raised in, and spent a majority of my adult life in New York, I grew up, of course, under the Mario Cuomo years, managed to make it through the inane George Pataki years, moved to the great state of Florida, now I reside in Ohio. I am surprised that Representative Lee Zeldin of the 1st Congressional District of New York has actually not been somehow arrested, deported, or exterminated by the Cuomo regime. His making the case of how not simply insane, but absolutely criminal and illegal what has been done to our president, now using an impeachment as another attempt at an actual coup and hostile takeover of our government and thwarting the will of 63 million Americans. Lee Zeldin, absolutely outstanding. This got 0 press coverage, and we're going to play the entirety of his comments.
Now, Adam Schiff, as Mike McCall just pointed out, is the prosecutor, the judge, the jury, the chief strategist for lying and leaking. A couple days ago, he crossed into this new territory called witness coaching, and he wasn't very good at it. And it's not just getting close to the whistleblower. Get this, the jurisdiction of the Intelligence Committee is to look into intelligence-related matters. But Adam Schiff decided 2 days ago, in his most recent rule change, that in no way, shape, or form can you ask any question that has anything to do with the intelligence community. Now, you all are being used. Some of you are happy about it, some of you are not. But many of you are reporting 0% of the story. There was one story that came out yesterday in Politico that was filled with falsehoods. Just somebody lied to you. I watched CNN last night and I saw a host, one allegation after another, say stuff that just was not true. Your sources, those Dems in that bunker, are trying to create a narrative because Adam Schiff aspires to write the world's greatest parody. And I'll tell you what, right now as we're here, 2 floors below us, in the bunker, Adam Schiff's bunker in the Capitol basement, Adam Schiff is tearing up his parody. He's going to have to rewrite it. Why is that? Well, we can't talk about, they say, the substance of the depositions, but I'll tell you, isn't it kind of curious that you don't know what's going on today with Tim Morrison in his deposition? Why is it that you don't have the information, the opening statements? He was Alex Vinneman's boss.
On the substance, as Jim Jordan just pointed out, the Ukraine aid was not even known to be held up by Ukraine. They did not say anything to us until just before it was released. And then it was released. And as Jim Jordan pointed out, guess what Ukraine had to do in order to get that hold released? Nothing. Now, Adam Schiff needs to release all the transcripts right now. Yes. On behalf of our constituents, on behalf of the American public, for everyone who's pissed about being misled by Adam Schiff and his cohorts hiding in the bunker of the Capitol basement, using you to lie to our constituents, release the darn transcripts. Let's have a conversation about substance. Because I'll tell you what, you lost the conversation about process. You're losing the conversation about process. Bring it on about substance, because our president was right in being concerned about corruption. Our president was right in wanting to look into interference in the 2016 election. And the president of the United States is right to be concerned about a corrupt foreign company run by a corrupt Ukrainian oligarch hiring the son of the vice president with no energy experience, no Ukraine experience, for at least $50,000 a year, $50,000 a month, and then the vice president of the United States, who was literally the most conflicted person out in the Obama administration to be running point with Ukraine, goes over to Ukraine and threatens the loss of $1 billion if they don't immediately fire the prosecutor who had an open investigation into Burisma and Zlochevsky. And I don't believe that Zlochevsky, Burisma, Joe Biden, Hunter Biden should be immune from scrutiny just because Joe Biden is running for president. And if that's not illegal, it should be illegal. And never again in this country should we have a son of a sitting vice president based solely on their name without any energy experience or any Ukraine experience being paid from a corrupt company run by a corrupt oligarch with an open corruption investigation into it. So on the substance, I say to Adam, bring it on. Release the darn transcripts and do it today.
Boom. There it is. Absolutely, without a doubt, on point, nails it, makes the case. Hey, thanks for watching my rant today. Please give us a thumbs up and like this. Share this to every social media platform you can. Help us spread the word. If you're a subscriber, thank you. Once again, they're messing with our algorithm. Check your subscription. Make sure you're still subscribed. If you're not a subscriber, please do so and make sure you smack the bell for my next rant.